Well, hi there. How are you guys doing today? It's so great to be back with all of you.
It's been a while. It feels like it's been a while.
It has been a while because we had to cancel last week's live stream, and so it's been a couple weeks. We've missed you guys, and it's been, man, really, really eventful.
There's a stain on my shirt. Thanks, baby Martha.
Now you know.
Just noticed.
Well, I'm stupid. My hair is all crazy. We just discover this stuff when we get down here. Like,
when we look in the camera, like, oh
no. So you guys probably know that this is the super dwarf retic that was sent to me by Reach Out Reptiles and Garrett Hartle, who actually came out to see her in person at the reptile room back in the day when that kind of thing was a little bit easier. Though we do have some exciting stuff coming up with regards to the reptile room. And just quick reminder, because it was really interesting to us.
Your collar's all flipped.
No, yeah, give me that guy. We still, the reptile room is totally dependent on online tours right now. Online visits, face to face, and you get to come and you hang out with me for like an hour, and we just look at reptiles and talk about reptiles. It's really, really fun. We do it over Zoom. It's been so much fun. I know a lot of you have done it already. If you want to comment about your experience.
It's amazing. So people ask all the time, they'll email me, like, what does this include? And you can choose. You can spend one-on-one time with Clint, ask him all your questions, hang out for an hour. You're just chatting, looking at each other. Clint will show you the reptile room and all the reptiles, or you can make it a party with your friends and do a virtual hangout and send the link to whoever you want to. We know there's some people who just scheduled, they're doing an art party and they're all going to draw the reptiles, and
that is so cool.
Clint's going to get them all out. So that's a really exciting
That is so cool. Yeah, it really is. You just come and hey, she's delightful. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about her at all. She is totally delightful. This is such a great snake. But I do want to get into a little bit of the meat of this.
Yeah.
Right away.
If that's okay.
Right away. I'll give a little more update on this girl. But, I mean, obviously, there's so much that is amazing about any super dwarf reticulated python. Because we still have to do a video on mainland retics and super dwarfs. But the thing is, reticulated pythons are basically the perfect pet snake, except for one problem. They get way too big, by many times larger than is too big. They get absolutely colossal and completely unreasonable for most people. But if retics were like the size of a bull snake, they'd be amazing. And some are. And these...
Also, she is gorgeous.
She is
I held
really
her for the first time after Jenna held her. She's got some iridescent.
Do you want to hold her while I talk about it for a minute?
Will you take her back when I'm done?
Yeah, I'll take her back whenever you want.
Okay.
So I will tell you, she's perfect in every way except actually one way that is imperfect for her, which I can't even imagine what this would be like with a full-size mainland retic. She does pee sometimes. And so you'll want to look and see if there's a little bulge building right here, but if there isn't, you're good. That is actually, this snake destroyed my computer. Doing online face-to-faces at the reptile room. It was this snake. She peed on the keyboard of my previous computer and destroyed it.
In the natural light, she's just got these rainbows running through her. And in the boas, the rainbows are more purpley blue. And in her, I'm seeing so much yellow.
They're gorgeous, aren't they?
It's so pretty. And her skin has that texture. Like it looks like if you were in person, I'm looking on the camera and it doesn't look like this, but in person it looks like when you touch her, she should just feel like velvet. And
she is soft.
Her scales are tiny. Like she's extremely soft.
She's a very special snake. I've been over the moon about her.
And you did say Garrett from Reach Out Reptiles gifted that to you, and he's been so happy.
Beside myself with excitement.
Yeah.
But any super dwarf retic is cool. And the thing about the super dwarfs is it's not a morph. They're not a morph retic. They are localities, island localities specifically. Just don't let her pee on your computer. Okay. Fortunately for us, Oz sent me a computer so that we could continue on. Yeah, thank you so much, Oz. And that's really saved us.
These rainbows, they're like turquoise.
They're
Look
exquisite,
at
aren't
'em. It's so beautiful. I wish you could see it through the camera.
they? When we do a video on them, we'll try to capture some of that. I can tell you we did an iridescent snake video last night, and hopefully we got a little of that iridescence on camera. We tried. But yeah, so the deal is these are a locality python. They're found on small islands. And actually on islands, often reptiles get larger. And I'm trying to understand what's going on there. My best hypothesis as for why you have these dwarf reticulated pythons on these islands is because mammals tend to get smaller on islands. And so large prey for giant snakes to eat might not really be available. And that might select for smaller retics. But these stay very small, and it's a locality thing. But something else that happens, well, and at least that happened in her lineage, and that actually seems to happen quite a bit with island reptiles, is something called parthenogenesis. Okay.
Is this a morph, or is this what they look like?
This is wild type.
She's gorgeous. Okay, her eyes are looking at me.
Well, they're very visual. So she's watching. She's watching.
No, I want to hold her. I just wanted to get her head away.
She won't bite you.
She might, though.
Yeah, but she
Remember
won't.
how you said the other animal wouldn't bite me, and then it bit me? It was the Aki.
Oh, I didn't say the Aki wouldn't bite you. It tried to bite somebody during the video, when we were filming our video on them.
Oh, then what was I holding? You're like, it's okay, it won't bite. And then it really reached around and bit
it might have been, but because the Aki did take a little nip at you. But anyway, I hadn't seen him do it, but I've seen Akis do it before. But anyway, this particular snake, part of the reason Garrett chose me to receive this incredible snake is because she is a parthenogenic baby. She has no father.
Sorry, honey.
She is the result of asexual reproduction by a female reticulated python. And this sort of thing seems to happen quite a bit with island species. You've got things like mourning geckos and Komodo dragons. Those are other reptiles that do either sometimes or almost all the time parthenogenesis. This.
She's looking at me.
Yeah, she's going to do that.
No, don't let her look at me.
What I'm about to explain, if you want me to take her though.
Sorry. Focus.
Yeah. So what I'm about to explain is going to assume that you know a little something about mitosis and meiosis. I've been trying to share a couple of videos from our other channel, which is Clint Explains, to help you have a little bit of a primer on those things. But I'll talk about them very, very briefly, because unless you understand mitosis and meiosis, you might not understand exactly how cool this is. It'll still be cool, but not as cool. So mitosis is a division that your cells do when they are making an identical copy of themselves. They line up all of your chromosomes, which contain all of your DNA. Before they do mitosis, they make an identical copy of every single one of them. And they just line them up and they split up the copies. So they make two cells. They do something called cytokinesis, which is where it cuts the membrane after it has split the chromosomes up, and each of the new cells gets one copy of all of the chromosomes. And so it just makes identical cells that have all of the original copies. That isn't what is done normally when reptiles reproduce. Usually what they do is something called meiosis. And meiosis is a division that splits up the chromosomes so that each of the new cells only gets half. And it actually does two divisions. The first division splits the chromosomes up so that the new cells only have half of the original number. And then there's a second division that just splits up identical copies. And so when you do meiosis, you normally get 4 cells that are not identical to one another. And they've only got half of the chromosomes of the original. And the way that they get all their chromosomes again is by combining like sperm and egg. Okay, that's how reproduction normally happens in reptiles. But there are some exceptions. And I've been thinking about how this could happen and just trying to understand, based on what I understand about reproduction and development and stuff, like how exactly is parthenogenesis happening in these animals. Don't be afraid of her.
I'm afraid.
Don't be afraid of her. You're going to have a worse
Her
experience.
eyes just remind me of, is it Caught on Jungle Book? Look at me. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah. And that's in Southeast Asia, isn't it? So it'd be a Southeast Asian python of some sort.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have found that the two ways that I could come up with that I thought that it was happening, they both happen. And I also discovered a third way that it happens that I wasn't aware of that makes a lot of sense and is stinking rad, but I didn't know about it. Okay? And I actually still have a couple of questions. So if any of you guys know more about this than I do,
Yeah.
I would like a clarification on one thing. I've been studying it and they've been describing it to me one way, but then as I study oogenesis and in humans, I have maybe a potentially different way that this might be happening, and I'm not sure which one is the reality. Okay? So let's go through it. The three ways that parthenogenesis happens in reptiles, at least there may be more, but these are the predominant three ways that parthenogenesis is going to happen.
If you're just joining us, because I'm looking at the numbers and a lot of people are just joining us, this is a Retic, but I don't know the locality.
This is a super dwarf reticulated python.
From Reach Out Reptiles, Garrett Hurdle sent her to us. He's awesome. And Clint's explaining parthenogenesis, which means her mama doesn't have a daddy.
Yep. There was no mating that occurred to produce her, and that is called parthenogenesis. Okay, so there are three ways that parthenogenesis can happen. One of the ways is that effectively, instead of doing meiosis, which is the double split to produce the cell with half the chromosomes, called a haploid cell, instead of doing that, the mother just does mitosis. Okay, and then that is her egg, but it's produced through mitosis, so it gets all of the chromosomes that she has. This is a clone. Okay, and this is what is happening most likely in mourning geckos.
Yeah.
Okay, so mourning geckos, they're just reproducing using mitosis instead of meiosis to produce their eggs. Bam! All females. And this is a big deal because geckos, most of them, have their sex determination using a system called ZW. And
explain why that's cool.
I'm going to.
Oh, sorry.
And so ZW is different from XY really in only one important way. So humans are XY. Males are XY, females are XX. And ZW, which is what all birds are and most squamate reptiles are, and a lot of reptiles, most of them are ZW. Okay, and what that means is it's the female that has two different chromosomes, not the male. So females are ZW and males are ZZ, which is like the opposite of what happens in humans and anything that's XY, in which the male is XY and the female is XX. Okay, this becomes really relevant, and it's going to be the difference between this snake and what happens with Komodo dragons. So something that was discovered only fairly recently is that pythons and boas independently are not ZW. They're XY. And that realization is actually what made what happens with banana ball pythons make sense. Mm-hmm. And when I learned that they're XY, that's when I was like, well, this is what's going on with banana ball pythons. We made that video because it was like revolutionary. We've been trying to understand it for the longest time. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm seeing this ZZ top, and I just realized that those guys with their beards, all men in ZZ top, if they were ZW, they would all be ZZ.
All right, I don't get the reference, but
that's all right. Okay, so we're back. Okay, are you all with me so far? By the way, if you have questions, just start shooting them out.
But I'm watching though.
Okay. So we're doing well. Because this is a complex but stinking rad subject. Okay, so something else that can happen, and it is the case with this snake, is that the mom did meiosis. Okay, so she produced a cell with only half of her chromosomes. So for every chromosome you've actually got two different copies, one that you got from your mom, one that you got from your dad. And your parents were the same way, and they split up the ones from their mom. Well, it's not like all mom on one side, all dad on the other side, because it's something called independent assortment. But they split them up. For each pair of chromosomes, you either get the one from their mom or the one from their dad, but not both. And so her mom did meiosis, totally normal. Okay, and when she did this meiosis, She is XX, mind you. Okay. When she did meiosis, she split up all of her chromosomes and she gave half of them to an egg. That egg was never fertilized by a male. And what happened was those half of those chromosomes, they made a copy of themselves like cells normally do during interphase, and they did mitosis effectively. They split the chromosomes up, but then they didn't do cytokinesis, the division of the cell. So they made 2 identical copies of every chromosome, split them up, and then didn't divide the cell. And so now that cell, which was haploid, is kind of diploid in that it has 2 copies of each chromosome. They just all happen to be
moms.
Exactly, not just moms.
Yeah.
Exactly the same ones from mom. So this isn't a clone of mom. This is a double copy of half of mom's chromosomes.
So she's not going to look identical to mom.
She's not identical to mom. And in fact, she is as inbred as it is possible to be.
So crazy.
Because she is homozygous, 2 of the same, of every single chromosome that she has. They're all identical. There is a big downside to this, and it's actually a real risk, even with her still, is that if there's anything bad on one of those chromosomes that she has, there's nothing on the other one to fix it. So she's got 2 copies of anything bad.
I see.
And that's actually the problem with inbreeding, is the likelihood of getting 2 copies of something bad go way up.
Right.
And so she could just drop dead at some point because there's a genetic defect.
This one?
Yes. And there's no other copy. And in fact, probably a decent number of the eggs will never hatch and stuff because of that problem. They're just as inbred as it is possible to be. But this is, and because mom was XX, she gave one of her X's to every one of her eggs, and it copied itself. So all of the babies are XX. They're all female. And cool, this is very cool. If she does survive to adulthood, she's got just a spectacular genome.
They're all XX?
They're all
These
XX.
guys are XY?
No, they're XX.
But I mean...
Yes, they're XY sex determination. That's why banana ball pythons finally made sense, what was going on with them. It didn't make sense when we thought they were ZW. That pattern made no sense at all. But now it does. Okay.
Last one.
So no, I'm not quite the last one. I do have one question about this one though. Because as I understand it, and this is getting out there, but this is maybe just if I'm talking to people who know more about this than I do. My question is, that is the way that I was finding it everywhere I'd read about it, was that the haploid cell would do mitosis and then split, and there would be no cytokinesis. But it is my understanding that in humans and probably lots of other animals, it isn't until after the cell is, the egg is fertilized by a sperm that you get the second division of meiosis. Meiosis 2 doesn't happen until after. And meiosis 2 basically is mitosis with a haploid cell. So I think what might happen really is that this egg didn't get fertilized and it still had the 2 copies from interphase, and they just went ahead and finished meiosis and then didn't do cytokinesis. I think that might really be more accurately what's going on, but I don't know. So if you know, let me know, right? That's not the way I was reading about it, but when I would read about, genesis and the fertilization of eggs, that's the way that it happens. And so that seems more efficient yet than finishing that off and then doing mitosis and not doing cytokinesis. Then you already had double copies, just split them. And the second division of meiosis is basically mitosis with haploid cell. So anyway, there you have it.
Is she a happy snake?
She's a way happy snake.
Right now?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay,
so that explains her. But I want to talk to you now about Komodo dragons.
Which is rad.
Which is, I think, even radder.
Yeah.
So this lineage of females, and I think this is very common in island populations, because if a female washes up on an island and she doesn't have fertilized eggs inside of her, she probably just lives out her life and dies. Unless she happens to be an oddball that can do parthenogenesis, because then she might start an all-new population on that island. So I think a lot of island populations of reptiles are probably the descendants of oddball females that could do parthenogenesis, and it probably runs in their bloodlines. Okay, so it's probably fairly common. Komodo dragons are one of these, but the way that it happens in Komodo dragons is different because they're ZW. Okay, so female Komodo dragons are ZW, they're not XX. And as a result, when they do this same sort of parthenogenesis, they either give one of their Z's, in which case that Z copies itself, and now it's ZZ, a male, or they give a W, in which case it's WW and it dies, which is the same as what happens if you're YY as a human, which would be very, very unlikely. But they either produce ZZ males or WW dead. So half of the eggs are just going to die right away. Okay? And a decent number of the others will die because they're stupendously inbred. But the thing is, any of those males that she produces that don't die, you know,
Theo.
there is. Sorry, Theo. Sorry, you guys. Theo, come on, buddy. Good boy. Any of them that survive to adulthood, you can be very confident that there is nothing bad in their genome because they have nothing to mask it. They're homozygous for everything. And if you're going to inbreed with one of your sons, they are the perfect sons with which to start a new population on an island. And so Komodo dragons, when they do parthenogenesis, fewer than half of the eggs will survive, and a very small percentage will make it to adulthood. But those that do are the perfect potential mates for that female. And so, bam, new population on that island.
So cool.
Because of that, but they're producing only males, whereas if they're XY, they're producing only females, and if they're doing mitosis, obviously, they're only females.
Yeah.
So that is two of the ways that it can happen. But there is another, right? As
by the way, some
Yoda
people
would
are
say.
like, I feel like I'm catching on. If you're confused, it helps a lot to understand meiosis and mitosis. And Clint has made a video on that on Clint Explains.
Yeah.
So go watch those two little, they're like 3 or 4 minutes long. Watch those two little videos and then come back and watch this.
Yeah.
It will make
if you're
so
feeling
much
it all
more
lost,
sense.
hop over to Clint Explains, watch mitosis and meiosis, and then come back and watch the beginning of this video again, and you will discover it's so stinking rad.
Yeah.
And we're not going to geek out on this the whole time unless you guys have lots of questions. But it's stinking rad, and you had to know about it. I'm so excited.
So rad.
I'll probably talk about it again when we actually do our video on Super Dwarf Retics, because how could we not? It's so cool. Okay.
It's so cool.
But there is another. So the way I was describing meiosis to you, where one cell becomes 4 haploid cells, that is the way that meiosis happens, especially with sperm production. But there's a difference between the strategy to make an egg and the strategy to make sperm. Sperm, the goal is make buckets of the things, right? Make them cheap, send them out, go! And find an egg. Now, the strategy with an egg is very different. The egg is all about survivability. And so selection has actually favored individuals that produce 1 stupendous egg instead of 4 so-so eggs. And the way that you get 1 stupendous egg is by having unequal divisions. Okay, so they divide out the chromosomes, and each cell gets half of the chromosomes. And then they do cytokinesis, but one of the cells gets basically everything, and the other one is teeny tiny little guy.
And that's not normal, right? Normally it's right in half.
No, that's not normal for cytokinesis, but it is normal for oogenesis. Okay. Which is the production of eggs in females.
I see.
Okay. And so and they produce these, and every division is like that. One of them gets everything and the other gets almost nothing. And those almost nothing tiny little guys are called polar bodies. They do have half of the chromosomes in them, but they do not have much of anything else. And sometimes what happens is that the egg gets fertilized to complete its genome using one of the polar bodies. And so the female effectively mates with herself, right? One of her gametes, the egg, is fertilized by another really, gamete that got hosed of everything except for chromosomes. But it is a new combination of her chromosomes. They're going to be homozygous for some stuff and heterozygous for other stuff. People often classify this as a form of sexual reproduction. It's just sexual reproduction with yourself, which plants can do very, very easily because they produce both eggs and sperm. But when it comes to reptiles, this is kind of the only way that they have sexual reproduction with themselves. And I don't know specifically which organisms do this. There's the possibility it could be happening with these. But no, there isn't. Yes, there is. Yeah, that could be, because they would still all be female, but there would be a lot of variation within the babies. I don't think that's what's happening with them, but it could. It could. If you had a ZW reptile doing this, they could potentially produce both male and female offspring. And WW deads. All of it. Because they're mating with themselves. Anyway, that is so dang cool.
But if you're confused, once again, go watch Clint Explains. Clint's explained it to me. I've watched both those videos. He's explained it to me over breakfast a couple days ago. And that's still a little iffy for me.
This is high level stuff right here. Like on Clint Explains, I try to keep it really simple with visuals and stuff that help to illustrate it. This is sort of more like, if you get it, you're gonna freak out. If not, at least you'll know there's something cool, and it'll give you something to start researching a little bit.
Clint even quizzed me yesterday over breakfast. He's like, "So tell me the 3 ways of Parthenogenic," and I'm like,
So yeah, I apologize that
to have a professor as a husband
without any visuals or anything. That's kind of the best I can do. Like I said, the Clint Explains videos will help some, and maybe we'll get around to this. I'll definitely talk about it more on Clint's Reptiles.
If you're confused, Clint Explains is a separate Clint channel called Clint Explains, where he goes in specifically about science topics. Is that okay?
It's because I teach biology, and I've had to move all online, and so I've been looking for videos like these to help teach a lot of the concepts that I normally teach using the board and all kinds of visuals and hands-on things. And I just couldn't find the kinds of videos that I want. So I actually paired up with Nate, who is who was our first volunteer at the Reptile Room. And he's an artist.
We have exciting news about that.
Yep. And we're collaborating to make these videos that I'm now using in my classroom, and I wanted to share them with the world. And so feel free to check them out. But anyway, that is a little primer on Parthenogenesis.
That was a lot of heavy lifting for my brain.
Stinking rad. Okay, we have a lot of other exciting things.
Yeah, tons of exciting things. We have lots of fun super chats coming in.
Let's do a couple super chats. We have some other really cool stuff.
Yeah, we have some Reptile Room announcements. We have some other really fun announcements coming up.
I'm just really excited about it. It's so cool.
I want to show you guys one more time this sweet girl. Do you think that she thinks that's another snake, or can she see that?
I think she's just trying to get out of here.
And there's my stain from Martha. Don't look at my stained shirt. Boop her on the snoot.
She's a good girl.
She's so cute. All right. Here you go.
I'll take her from. I'll actually let's give her a little breather.
Yeah.
She's probably been held long enough.
She's a sweetie. She was really nice.
I'll get her out again before the end, but I
wish you could see her skin in person, because it really looks like if you touched her, she should feel like velvet, and she's extremely soft. She's so fun. Okay, we've got some. I'll put you in charge of that.
Okay.
Super chats coming in. So the first one is from our good friend Anthony. Anthony has the piano at the room dedicated to him, because he's done so much to help our channel out. We really appreciate him. He said for the reptile, he sent a $99.99 super chat. Super duper chat. You're such a nut. He said, for the Reptile Room, my friends, I hope you're feeling better, Alicia. Hope I can see you guys this Tuesday for my birthday, at least for a few minutes. Much love. That's really exciting.
Yeah, are they coming?
We'll try to be there. No, I think he's good.
Oh, it's Anthony.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who'd you think it was?
I was thinking about the piano.
My nose. My hair got in my nose.
Yes, that would be amazing. Let's do it. We'll do it.
Okay.
We'll send him a link.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll send him a link.
We will see you on your birthday. Thank you for the reminder. I'm so bad about stuff like that.
He is so bad about stuff like that. Okay. Natalia, except not with me, just with everyone else.
No, they're not with you. My parents, I work, honestly, there are enough kids now. I'm like, okay.
Our children? Enough of our children?
Yes. I think I've got them all, though.
Okay, Natasha. Sorry, not Natasha. Natalia, I need this closer to me. Hello, computer.
Hello, computer.
Natalia said, "Does your Retic have a name? She is so cute."
No.
What should we name her?
I really need a great name for her because there's so
She's so
much
special.
rad about her. She's so special.
And she's beautiful.
And I don't have anything that has began to touch that one yet.
Yeah.
Like that hits me as like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
She's pretty. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Morelia sent a super chat. Hey, CNL, which, by the way, I love that you said CNL because I used to write that in hearts when we were dating.
And we went to that one waffle restaurant where they had on the
No, it was
tree.
a crepe restaurant.
Oh, sorry.
It was a crepe restaurant, and in the middle of the restaurant was this ginormous tree, and then it like went all on the ceiling. It was a fake tree, but it was really, really cool. And on the tree said CNL.
C+L in heart.
Yeah, it was so cute. And we're like, that's us. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Morelia said, "Hey, CNL, recommendation for an evening one-on-one with both of you for our first Zoom show and tell. You pick the time, the day and time, and we'll book it."
Let's see, when are good evenings? We could do a
Tuesday evenings are good.
Tuesday evenings are good.
Yeah.
Make sure you add in the notes.
Yeah.
To make sure Alicia's there.
And the earlier in the evening, the better, just God for Martha's sleeping schedule.
And Owen, because especially if it's a school night. That's what I was thinking. Oh, yeah. Tuesdays are the ones where we do evenings.
Yeah, Tuesdays are a long day.
Tuesday it is. Tuesday? Is Tuesday good?
Tuesday evening. You book it. We'll be there.
Yeah, but make sure to put something in the notes so we make sure that Alicia's there.
Yeah. Let's see. Sean P. sent a super duper chat.
Super duper chat!
And that's it.
The end?
The end.
Thank you, Sean. That was so kind of you.
$25 chat. Thank you. Mr. and Mrs. Morelia said, "Did you hear that the invasive Burmese python in Florida have the same component that was used in the COVID vaccine that has been taken from wild sharks? Problem snakes can save over harvesting of sharks."
Wow. I didn't hear anything about that, but that is really, really fascinating.
Very fascinating. We'll have to do some more reading on that.
Oh, I remember one of the things I wanted to make sure I don't forget to talk to them about.
I know. Is it Wednesday?
You've got it. Yeah, I've got a really exciting something probably for this Wednesday.
We have 2 exciting somethings, Monday and Wednesday. And Friday.
This coming Monday?
Yes.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
This Monday?
Yes, it's February 26th, love.
February's a short month. Holy smokes! This is really exciting stuff.
Yeah, all next week. We have announcements for all next weeks.
Okay. This day just keeps being awesome.
Okay, let's see here. Alex Conway sent a super chat. "Hey, Clint, I have a 60 GA, is that gallon?
Probably.
60-gallon vivarium that has a small stream and water area. It sits around 70 degrees and 70% humidity. I'd like a reptile in it. Suggestions?"
Okay, so 70 gallons. It's got what in it?
No, 60 gallons.
60 gallons.
70 degrees and 70% humidity.
Okay.
And it's got a small stream and a little water area.
Let's see. The depth of the water area could matter a little bit.
Sounds like more.
This sounds like an amazing amphibian enclosure.
Yeah.
But again, you need to be careful. It sounds like it could be a really cool enclosure for emerald tree skinks, which are the coolest lizards you could possibly get.
Depending if the water wasn't too deep.
Well, you'd need to put a basking spot in for them.
So it would need to be a little bit hotter.
Yeah, and I assume they would. I mean, don't make the water too deep. Make sure they can get out of it easily. But I think they could swim a little. Yeah. Again, amphibians, anoles. A lot of these are going to need to put a basking spot in and UVB.
How do grass lizards do with water? Longtail.
I don't know. Probably not that well, honestly.
Yeah.
They seem like that tail might just drag them underwater.
Poor little guy. All right.
But I don't know. I'm hypothesizing.
Oh, this is so nice. Where did I go? Amy B, who's a good friend, she's done some one-on-ones with Clint. She sent a super duper chat. And she said, "Clint Explains" is super rad.
Thank you so much. I am really excited about it. It's been a fun project, and it's amazing. Like, I've been using them in my class, the videos, and they're so effective. We've got one actually coming out tomorrow on that I usually spend a week on it, and I've been showing it in, like, Owen had it in 8 minutes. He's 7 years old.
Tell him what it's about.
Oh, well, it's on phylogenetics. I honestly we should talk down the road. But I'm thinking about making a phylogenetics video for Clint Reptiles as well.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
All right. Anthony said, "Hi there, my friends. Did you hear that the first ever cloned black-footed ferret was born recently?"
I did hear about that.
Which is stinking rad. What could this mean for the future of cloning endangered animals and de-extinction? Is it like scientifically cloned?
Yes. No, they cloned it. They made a
Why?
Well, black-footed ferrets are very, very endangered, and there are other animals.
Did I say ferret or parrot?
Ferret?
Okay, good.
There are other animals that are so endangered by humans that we've driven them all the way to extinction. And so, cloning is an essential ability for de-extinction of animals. And when you're talking about things that we've driven to extinction within the last couple of centuries, it's much less of a moral question as to whether or not it's okay to bring them back from extinction. I mean, if we can find DNA from a stellar sea cow or a dodo bird.
What about a woolly mammoth?
See, that's where it gets a little more questionable, right? Because modern humans didn't drive woolly mammoths to extinction. And so it's a bigger ethical dilemma.
I see.
But it's less of an ethical dilemma, to bring back passenger pigeons and just all of these sorts of, animals, especially, well-known, important animals and ecosystems that we've driven to extinction in the very recent past.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them, we had them in zoos and things like thylacines, the Tasmanian tiger. We have at least one thylacine joey preserved in alcohol, which alcohol, unlike formalin, doesn't break down the DNA.
Wow. So
we could clone it. We could potentially even introduce some genetic variation into it. And, especially if we've got like an XY individual, we could make an XX individual.
Could we?
Just by making a second copy of the X chromosome and not giving them the Y. And
wow.
De-extinction is very legitimately on the table. And cloning something like a black-footed ferret, you can do that without really having any of the ethics questions at all, because they are not extinct.
Your beard is so cute, and I just want to kiss it right there. Sorry, keep talking. It's like perfectly cute and moving around.
There you go.
Sorry.
There you go. Anyway, it's stinking rad. But yeah, I personally would love to see a mammoth. I don't think we need to re-release mammoths into their native habitat, but you go to the zoo and see a mammoth, how cool would that be?
That would be pretty
And here's the difference between zoos and Jurassic Park, is we actually do know how to contain large animals.
Yeah. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could. They didn't stop thinking they should.
That's what I was quoting.
I know. It was so good.
I just didn't do it like you.
Well, that's good. You have to channel your inner Goldblum.
All right. Thor Cox said, "Some D&D friends and I are planning a trip later this year and want to come to the Reptile Room. We'll be so stoked if we can." First of all, D&D friends coming out. Are you coming out for Evermore, or what are you coming out to Utah for? What's drawing you? I want to know.
And actually, the Reptile Room, if you booked if you booked the room, would be a really great venue to play D&D.
We have a big table, some couches and chairs. Clint and I spend a lot of time there. It's like our family hangout. We bring friends there and play games and eat. We do like dinner and game night at the Reptile Room. Like, it's our personal space that we want you guys to come in and feel like it's very intimate. It's a personal experience.
I think you might be able to get Will to even want to come and play D&D.
Yep.
Anyway, that's really exciting.
Yeah, I want to know what.
Oh, and they were asking if it's going to be open?
Yeah.
Should we just go ahead and break some news?
And break some really, really exciting news.
We've been following COVID very, very carefully. As you guys probably know, we have been closed down for a while now, since October. October was the only month the Reptile Room has ever been open to the public. And we are officially reopening it on a limited basis on Monday evenings and Friday evenings starting next week. So
all through March.
Monday 5 through 9. Fridays. Yeah, the numbers are back down below where they were in October.
Yep.
And after our spike, and it's like, okay, we're obviously still completely dependent on the face-to-faces from people all over the world.
100% completely dependent on
but we're starting to get to play with being open and just kind of working everything out and getting word of mouth out. So if you're around and you're healthy.
You have a few options. You can come either a Monday or Friday, which who knows? We're playing March by ear, and then we'll see what COVID has in store for us come April. But after that, if we're still open Mondays and Fridays and you're coming on a Wednesday, book the entire room. You get the entire room all to yourselves. Clint will be there the whole time.
You get the entire Clint all to yourselves.
You get all the animals, hold them, feed them, hang out with them. So yeah, I mean, some really exciting things. We're so excited to open up again. It was so fun in the evenings just to have people drop by. People who've never held a reptile before come in, and I get to be brave and show them how it's easy to hold reptiles.
Yeah, when Leisha is presenting to somebody else, she really she doesn't show the kind of fear that she was showing today with the Retic. Yeah, she's got that inner confidence, because I think it's important to you that they feel comfortable.
It is important to me that they know that this is okay. And so oftentimes I'm getting animals out by myself that I'm very comfortable handling by myself.
Yeah, but I've seen you get out animals that you've never gotten out by yourself before.
Yeah, like the millipede and the vinegaroon and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you can join us, if you're local, come Monday, come Friday, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then if you want to come, for preschools and things, we still have events and little.
Yeah. We have other things you can schedule it to come, but right now, just normal public hours, Mondays and Fridays, and then by appointment anytime I'm not teaching, pretty much.
Yep. I'm so excited about that. It feels so good to get that out there. The room is opening again, and we're hoping that this year we can get the room to where we want it to be. Right now, it's still a work in progress. We're still working with enclosures and trying to figure out everything how we want it to be. And by the end of this year, hopefully it's looking a lot better.
Yep. Well, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, we're moving on, but my heart is just swelling. I'm just so happy. We're opening again. Isn't that exciting? We're living our dreams with this, and it's because of you guys. So thank you.
Oh, there's no way we would have made it through. And in fact, there's still no way we would survive without you guys. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you. That's the reality.
Yeah. Anthony sent a super duper chat. So my friend, fun question. You're John Hammond. You need to decide on the first 5 species to exhibit at Jurassic Park. What extinct animals do you choose and why? Notice he said animals, not reptiles.
Oh, boy. Okay. I am John Hammond. Obviously, you need a Tyrannosaur. Because, that is probably, if you had a vote, that's the coolest one. Okay, so you need a Tyrannosaur. I even think his decision to have Deinonychus was a great one, because Deinonychus, aka Velociraptor, but not Velociraptors, Deinonychus they're stupendously awesome.
So Deinonychus is your first one, or did you already say
Tyrannosaur?
Tyrannosaur,
T-Rex, and Deinonychus, they were a must.
Crazy.
They were a must. Some sort of large sauropod like the Brachiosaurus.
Yeah, you've got to have.
I think that is
the Diplodocus, Argentinosaurus.
Yeah, any of those, but Brachiosaurus was a great choice. That was a great choice. So Brachiosaur is a must. And honestly, if it was just about my personal enjoyment and I wasn't considering what the public would want to see, I might go different directions. But you probably need a Triceratops and a Stegosaurus. I think that was probably your 5. However, I'm going to give a different list, right? If this isn't about bringing the public in, but this is just about what are the 5 animals that Clint wants to observe at Jurassic Park, we're going to have T-Rex still.
Carnotaurus.
We'll have Carnotaurus.
Spinosaurus.
No.
Would you have Titanoboa?
No. Titanoboa is just a really big anaconda, basically. Okay, what else would I want to see there? Carnotaurus, did I already mention that?
Yeah, you already said T-Rex, Carnotaurus.
T-Rex, Carnotaurus. I'm conflicted on my Dromaeosaur of choice.
You always say that the duck-billed dinosaurs are boring, but I really like them. I really love Parasaurolophus. And
so here's my deal. I like them, but they're
Parasaurolophus. Excuse me.
Parasaurolophus, you were right.
Really? Okay.
Or yeah, I guess there's various pronunciations, but yeah, in the right order. But my favorite stegosaurid is Kentrosaurus. So I would rather see a Kentrosaurus than a stegosaur. There are lots of ceratopsians that I like better than.
Would you want a Chasmosaur?
Maybe, or a Styracosaurus, Ceratops, something that I like those better than Triceratops. The cool thing about Triceratops is just how big it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, something like Protoceratops or Compsognathus or something that you might actually be able to like hold and have people touch. Deinosuchus.
Also, you want a miniature elephant. You would want the mini elephant, wouldn't you?
Deinosuchus.
I don't know what Deinosuchus is.
Colossal giant super crocodilian.
Oh, yeah. And what about the mini elephant?
Yeah, a mini elephant would be great. That's more like if I was going to have some sort of elephant.
All right, I think we can wash our hands of that question.
Okay,
that was good answer. Good answer. Sherry LBW sent a $15 super chat. Thank you, Sherry, and said, "Beautiful snake. Have a beautiful day."
Thank you,
Sherry. And Lauren Bevel, our friend who likes dad jokes and who's done one-on-ones with you, said, "In the before times when we actually went to the office, we found a Texas spiny lizard basking on some rocks outside, and we would leave veggies and such for it. Do Texas spiny lizards make good pets?"
I think they would make okay pets. To me as a kid, when I would see them in my field guide, I'm like, oh, it looks like a bearded dragon.
Yeah.
But they're in nature, and so I could just find one. The thing about it is, it's not going to be as good of a pet as a bearded dragon, and they're going to be wild caught. Most of them you're going to see. So if somebody was working with them and had captive bred ones, it could be a different thing. I think you're much better suited just getting a bearded dragon, and if they're too big for you, a Rankin's dragon.
Yeah. Okay, good answer. Wickens Wicked Reptile said, "If you could make any real reptile into the size of a horse and ride it around at birthday parties, at birthday parties only, can we ride it whenever we choose? Which reptile would you choose?"
I would definitely pick one that's not going to kill me while I try to do this.
Yeah. Emerald tree skink?
No, I think they would totally kill and eat me.
They would.
If I was little, they're really quite terrifying if you're an insect or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a horse-sized emerald tree skink.
Blue tongue skink?
No, they'd be horrifying too. And it would run down a giant hole and you'd be crushed to death.
It'd be like that thing on The Mandalorian.
Yes. I think, okay, so this probably isn't a true reptile, but I think dewbacks would be pretty great.
What's a dewback?
They're the things that the sand sand troopers were riding around on Tatooine. Big reptile-looking guy. Okay, anyway.
Oh, a real reptile that you make the size of a horse.
Most reptiles would be awful to ride, if you think about it. I think you're pretty much limited to some sort of a tortoise as being the only thing that would be reasonable.
That wouldn't eat you.
Yeah, to kill you.
I would ride Big Daddy.
Yeah, like a giant Big Daddy would be great.
Who is a sulcata tortoise if you don't know him by name.
He'd be a nightmare. Like, I don't know how you'd get him there.
No.
Can you imagine how much he would weigh?
Oh, dear. That's a fun question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Adam.
Thor Cox, who was the one coming to Utah, said, "OMG, we will look into that. It would be in the fall, and we want to go to Evermore. Might have to make Clint play D&D. Please go to the reptile room and make Clinty play D&D, please." So my whole existence with Clint, he's always been way nerdier than me. And our friends got into D&D, and they were like, "Let's all play." And I was like, "Sure, I'll play D&D. Why not? That sounds like a fun board game." And Clint's like, Nope. That's where I draw the line. I'm not nerdy enough to play D&D. But I want to try it.
Everybody like that. That's always where I've drawn my line. And I'm a very nerdy person, and so I had to say, where do I draw it off? I draw it off not at LARPing.
But if you come to the room and make him play, that would make me so happy.
But if you can get Will to play D&D with you, you should also have him take you to Evermore because he is Evermore royalty.
He is Evermore royalty. If you've heard of Pit Plum, that's our good old William, and I think
William is Pit Plum's alter ego.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
Kind of Pit Plum's Clark Kent.
All right. Mr. and Mrs. Morelia sent us super chat. I think I wanted to make sure I'm not missing any super chats, but Mr. and Mrs. Morelli has sent a super chat. Tuesday, March 2nd at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's a date. Nervous and excited, but looking forward to meeting you both. Can't wait to show off our reptiles.
We're going to be
so
all jazzed
exciting.
too because we just got to be open one evening. I don't know how many people will come.
We'll be open on Monday.
I know, the first.
And then Tuesday.
And then the
we'll
March
get to
2nd,
meet
we'll
them.
get to see them, right?
Yeah,
We'll be all jazzed.
I'm so excited. You guys have always been Team Leisha, so it's going to be really fun to actually meet you. How fun.
This is going to be stupendous.
Yes. Very good. Thank you for scheduling a one-on-one. If you're thinking about it, please do. It's what's keeping the reptile
They'll
room
only be the
open
second
in
ones to
life.
schedule a one-on-one with you.
Yep, just Anthony.
Anthony's the only other one?
Yep. So just make sure you put in the notes that you want to see me, and
Yes.
I'll be there. Okay, should we move over to Patreon?
Patreon.
Before we do, why don't you open a letter?
A letter.
Letter.
Okay, this one comes in a bubble mailer. It's from Lacey Lindquist
In Florida.
in Florida. There's a lot going on in Florida. Woo! Whoa! Anthony, are you gonna like this? Oh my gosh!
I want to see. Pull it out.
This is the greatest.
Pull it
This
out.
is the greatest thing ever.
What is this?
It's a proboscis monkey riding an axolotl. How wonderful is that? How wonderful!
This is an axolotl. I thought this was a salamander.
Well, axolotls are salamanders.
They are?
Uh-huh.
Why is a proboscis monkey riding an
If there were giant axolotls with saddles on them, why would a proboscis monkey not ride them? That's what I want to know.
But is this an inside joke?
I have no idea, but it's wonderful.
It's really
That
funny.
makes me so happy.
You would wear that on a shirt in a
Oh,
heartbeat.
in a heartbeat.
Oh,
That's-
you're so nerdy.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why I have to draw the line somewhere. Because who knows how far it
He
can
would
go.
wear this on a shirt, but he won't play D&D.
Can you imagine how far I could go, Leisha? Can you imagine if I didn't
Oh my
make some
Lanta.
decisions? Okay, let's see here. I want to read the whole thing in case there's a place that she can tell us that we can get these. Okay. Check out. Okay, I'm going to check this out because you might be able to find more stuff like this. But go to Instagram and check out Quail's. Quail.
I'll put it in the chat.
Quality Cursed Creations. It's all one word, so I'm having to. So it's QUALITY, quality, CURSEDCREATIONS, Quality Cursed Creations on Instagram. Oh, let's see here. I thought you might like these stickers I made. This is originally a painting I did a while back, and then I decided to shrink it down into 3 fun little guys. I do a lot of admittedly weird sculptural pieces, and if you'd like to check out my Instagram, I'd be super flattered. That's so
really
wonderful.
Awesome.
Oh, and she wants to see a video on cave geckos. Agreed. These make me so happy. I can't wait to check out.
That was too fun. Open your other letter.
Okay, opening. How great is that?
Oh, Glinty. That's why we all love you.
Okay, this one is from Michael Everett Fitzhenry.
You know Michael Fitzhenry.
Oh, from Indiana.
Yes, you'll have. This is a long letter. He'll have to read later.
Oh yeah, this is a big letter.
We'll see. He usually sends drawings though, so see if there's
Whoa.
a diagram of some sort.
Let's see what we're looking at. Couch dresser. This is like.
Is reptile?
Yeah, it's got a reptile room schematic in it.
Cute.
I love that.
Really cute.
That is stinking rad. Biggest fan, Michael.
Cute.
Next letter will be all about Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, let's see. There was somebody who used to sign off as my biggest fan all the time, but I haven't seen any comments from her in a long time. So now the space is open.
Your mom?
No. Please. My mom watches all of these, actually.
I know.
She's
so
great.
it's like your mom who always signs off as your biggest fan. Okay, let's pop over to Patreon real quick. Patreon helps our channel a lot, and one of the perks of Patreon is you get all your questions answered during the live stream.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is from Sean P. The recent weather in Texas has me wondering about native animal populations. What kind of an effect can unusual weather phenomena like this blizzard have on native reptile populations, and how long do they take to recover from such an event? It feels like reptiles would be hit especially hard by something like this, but I don't know for certain.
Unusual extreme weather events can be devastating for native populations that aren't adapted to handle such things.
Yeah.
If it is something that happens every so often, then the population has been tested essentially before, and those that weren't able to handle it died, and the ones that reproduced were the ones that could handle it better.
Yeah.
And so they usually can handle it to some degree. But the reason extinction happens is because an environment changes so rapidly that the variation in the population isn't adequate to handle it. And if nobody can survive it, it goes extinct. They can't adapt to it. And so something like this can absolutely drive certain populations to extinction if they're all exposed to it and none of them can handle it. If not, it's going to be a serious population bottleneck. It's going to cut down the population. It will, and it probably will do it non-randomly in a lot of ways. So it'll be a major selective event, and the population will be very small, which will open up a lot of niche space, which they might fill, but it also potentially could be filled by a competitor, because a lot of times that stable state was determined because one of the populations was already well established before another one came in and it wasn't able to take over. And so it can totally reshape ecosystems.
Yeah. Cool. David Shook said, how about a video on if a rubber boa is the best pet for you?
I think that's a great idea.
We
In
love
fact,
rubber boas.
I filmed a lot of B-roll footage of rubber boas last summer.
Yeah.
Because I want to be able to do a video, but I don't want to bring in a wild caught rubber boa from here, and I don't know anybody keeping them. And so I might do it that way, or I might wait until I find somebody who has one.
The first time I realized that Clint loved reptiles is when he caught a rubber boa from the wild and had me hold it. And it was such a sweet snake. We ended up naming him Kitty because of Monsters, Inc. And Clint says there was a kitty nearby that was really nice.
It got Leisha over her fear of snakes.
Yeah. And I didn't have a giant fear of snakes, but I caught snakes as a kid and I got bit. And I'm sure I wasn't holding it right. And it was all my fault, but I was still a little bit scared. All right.
Not everybody starts out with a fertile lance.
What?
Just kidding. It was a garter.
Oh. What are you talking about? Okay, Amar says, hi, Clint. Hope you and the family are doing well. Thank you. I recently started a YouTube channel newsletter on which newsletter at work on which I hope to feature your channel as well. The newsletter consists of the channel name, a short description, and a link to a video on the channel. So my question is this: which video should I use for your channel to show everyone? As always, keep doing what you're doing.
Huh, I don't
That's a great
know.
question.
That is a
There's
great
really
question.
great ones.
Well, I'd love to see in the comments what video you like. If you had to show one video to somebody to be like, "This is what Clint Reptiles is all about."
Yeah.
What video would you pick?
Great question.
And I want to see those, and I'll probably give that some more thought too.
Can I tell one of my?
Yeah. What would be yours?
One of my all-time favorites is a really early one, but it was one of my very favorites from the very beginning, which is 5 of the Best Pet Lizards.
That is fun.
I love that one.
It is, in a lot of ways, we've come a long way since some of those early ones.
Yep.
One of them that has been extremely popular. Well, there are a few of them. I mean, the Vinegaroon was very, very, very popular this year. The Black Widow video, the King Cobra video. Let's see what.
Sorry.
Oh, the centipede, the giant centipede. That was a very, very popular video this year. Dragon Snake was extremely popular. So those have been some that have been really popular of late and maybe reflect kind of what we've been doing lately.
Yeah. Top 5 reptiles for kids. Your first video.
That's a fun one.
Bioactive build, hognose snake, Lauren says, but I'm extremely biased. Your first video, of course. So those are some good ideas.
It is pretty cool. Our very first video we ever made is still our most viewed video we've ever made.
Oh, this is a fun question. I kind of like the break from reptile questions just because it's a fun break. This is from Alex Harkonnen, who says, what's your favorite birthday cake / baked dessert?
I actually was having this discussion with Leisha about her favorites, and your favorites were, there's this chocolate silk cake that they sell at Costco.
Yeah, chocolate velvet cake.
Chocolate velvet cake.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got my
That they sell
textile
at
wrong.
Costco.
My soft textile.
And it's like cake, because I'm not a huge cake person, but this is because it's just not enough flavor, not enough texture. But this one has, it's like cake with mousse and then hard chocolate and cream and then cake. It's like this whole sandwich.
It's really good. It's very rich too.
Yeah, you have like a little piece that's this big and it's all you need. It's so yummy.
And then your others were carrot cake and torta de tres leches.
No, cherry pie.
That's not a cake.
I know, but it's a baked dessert.
But you said that was for your 3 cakes.
Yeah.
And mine, I like most cakes.
Yeah, he does.
But chocolate cake I really enjoy a lot. I like carrot cake a lot. Carrot cake almost feels like it's healthy enough to be a meal.
Oh, Keith Payne said the channel intro video would be a good one. That is a good one.
Yeah. It's like we made that on purpose.
Yeah. Keep going.
So yeah, let's see. Chocolate cake. Was there more to that question?
Your favorite cake or baked dessert?
Oh, or baked dessert. Oh heavens.
He likes cinnamon rolls a lot.
Yes, I do. Mostly because I can make them myself fairly easily.
He does the Pillsbury
but
pop ones.
That I hate Pillsbury products.
Clint had to work. He made some cinnamon rolls this morning.
Like
he had
a boss.
to work himself up, and he's like, "I'm gonna just open this like a boss." He's
And
like flexing his muscles out. See, I'm a boss.
Like a boss. I did.
He has to work himself up to
Oh,
open
yeah.
those guys. Oh dear.
The scariest part is when you're peeling the label, right? If I can just squeeze it, that's what I've learned. It used to be like I kind of squeeze it or I push it with a spoon and then it's like, I don't know. But if I'm just like, I know it goes right then. But when you're peeling that label, it could go at any moment or not at all. That's the worst.
Okay.
It is the worst.
This one is from Henry Jacobson. Hi, Clint. Don't tell the feds, but I got to tell you here in Florida, what do you think of the current reptile bans?
Whew.
There's a lot there.
That is actually something I want to talk to you guys about.
Yep.
Because obviously right now, in a lot of ways, the reptile hobby feels like it is under a full-on assault. And honestly, what they're doing in Florida makes the most sense to me of any of them. Because Florida is just phenomenal habitat for any reptile. And basically everything could become invasive there. And so they probably need to do something.
Yeah.
The difficult thing is what they're doing is really devastating, and it's just opening the doors to them basically banning reptile keeping in the state of Florida. And so what I want to talk to you guys about is what do we do? Right? What do we do? And right now, one of the things that I think is really important, and that we support here at Clint Reptiles is being a member or at least donating to USARC.
Yeah.
USARC is sort of our big advocate. A lot of times these groups that are making these decisions, these government organizations, they're not hearing from the hobby, right? There's nobody speaking on the behalf of the hobby except for USARC. And so they need our support. And so that's one thing. On top of that, though, there's so much more that we could be doing. And some of the things are productive and some of them are destructive. And I can tell you here in Utah, when I first moved here, the laws were pretty brutal, honestly, with regards to reptile keeping. And they didn't make a whole lot of sense as far as I could tell. And the thing is, a small group of people got together and effectuated a change, a really beneficial change, and a change that has promised to keep going and keep getting better and better and better. And so one member of the team was Matt Jepson, who you guys at least have heard his name before because he's helped with some of our videos on freshwater stingray, for one. Yeah. And more that are coming, more really exciting ones that are coming. Yeah. Anyway, I asked him if he would come down and talk about what he thinks we can do as a community and as individuals right now. And we brought him in last night, and he shared some stuff that is just outstanding. Outstanding. And we're gonna usually we film a video and we release it like months later, but we are gonna try to have this video done by Wednesday of next week. I can't promise that. We never turn videos around this fast, but we're gonna try to have it done as quickly as we can.
He's so interesting with
so
all
interesting
his background knowledge.
And yeah, I mean, and the thing is, he's not promising this will work everywhere, but it certainly worked here, and they are principles that he was talking about in which I believe very strongly. And kind of some of the big takeaways are that they didn't present themselves as the adversaries of the groups that were making these regulations. They really genuinely sought out to understand what those regulatory bodies were trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
And then they volunteered their talents and information and abilities to help with that mission, while at the same time making the laws not so devastating for the reptile community, the reptile keepers and people in the field and biologists working with these animals. They got really qualified people, and I think this is a big deal. A lot of us are feeling frightened and angry right now.
Yeah.
And they presented themselves, they put themselves in a position to be the filters, the funnels through which that anger and fear was channeled. So because just one person unloading in an angry, out of control sort of way can really break down the sorts of relationships that it takes to make a change. And so anyway, what he had to say was unbelievably great, and we'll try to have that video out by next Wednesday.
Yeah, be watching for it, because it should help a lot.
I think it can do a lot to change things here.
Yeah, good question. Let's see. Hedregal said, has Gus been feeling challenged by Snake Discovery's new Tegu, or does he feel confident in his position as top internet Tegu?
Gus seems he appreciates the attention, but I think that Gus has never seemed like he is.
He's pretty sure of himself.
Yeah, and he's never seemed consumed by fame either.
No.
Like he knows.
He's just a calm, down to earth, just sure of who he is, and nothing else really bothers him.
Yeah.
Moving on. Anthony says, hi there, my friends. What are some common misconceptions about reptiles or animals as a whole that you wish people knew were false?
So a lot of them have to do with snakes specifically. Yeah. A lot of people think that all snakes or a large percentage of snakes are dangerous and mean to do you harm. Mm-hmm. That's probably the biggest one, right? It is amazing when people find out that a very small fraction of all snakes are venomous, and even the venomous ones really want nothing to do with you. It's like, really, because they basically think if you encounter a snake, you now need to fight for your life. Yeah.
They're going to chase you and jump up at you.
And envenomate you.
And something that Clint teaches in his presentations, what our only venomous snake here in Utah is a rattlesnake. And he talks about how when snakes are rattling, they're scared. That's their only defense is, please go away. Please go away. See, I'm rattling my tail. And that really eases people's fear of them and concern a lot, because here in Utah we hear a lot about people just killing the rattlesnakes,
and gophers, because they think they're rattlesnakes.
Yep. So that's a big one. Audrey Kurt said, I just want to know about all the parthenogenic things. Not sure if this should be covered in this video or a whole separate one, but the morning geckos and this one have me so curious.
How do we do? Did we cover that question?
Yeah, I think we did. This is. Remember how they told us how to print? It's Vasily. I think that's how they told us.
Yeah, maybe. Sorry, but if you could put your little phonetic cheat sheet on there every time, that would probably help.
Vasily, I think. It's viviparous lizard, Zootoca vivipara, a good pet lizard. What is their care like?
I don't know exactly what that is off of the top of my head. I can tell you about vivipary. Let me look it up.
Good idea.
Vivipara.
And then we just have a couple more questions on Patreon. Jason texted and said I missed a super chat, so we'll go back to some.
Vivipara what?
Vivipara zootoca. Zootoca.
Zootoca vivipara seems to be the.
Yeah, that's how they had it on there.
Okay, the viviparous lizard, a common Eurasian lizard. Okay, so it
Show them the picture.
From the look of it, it looks like it would be a decent pet lizard, kind of like a lot of smaller wild-caught lizards are, if people are working with them in captivity. But I don't know that much about their personality or specific care requirements. But being a Eurasian lizard, they're probably relatively hardy, temperate sort of lizards. They probably are relatively easy to keep, would be my guess, but I don't know.
All right. Born to Eat Bacon said, Leisha, Clinty, a warm greeting from Johnny and Connor. Thank you. I wrote a short story from the eyes of a leopard gecko. If I mail you a copy, would either of you be interested in reading it? No worries. It really is a short story, not a semi-truncated novella. There is no wrong answer. Love you both regardless, and your snappers and Gus Gus and...
That sounds like a lot of fun.
And I know a little boy who would love to read it.
I was saying the same thing. He would love that.
Yeah. Thank you for thinking of us.
Uh-huh.
Kate B said, hi there, Clint. Would you consider doing a vid on the tuatara? I think they're one of the most unique reptiles most folks haven't heard of before. Keep up the good work, and I hope it isn't getting dangerously cold out there.
We totally should do a video on tuataras.
Yeah.
I actually
got a lot of B-roll.
I have quite a bit of footage of tuataras from New Zealand.
I mean,
I can't remember.
But Australian zoos had them too.
Yeah. But we were only at the one. No, we didn't see a tuatara.
I thought we did it.
That's why we went so out of our way to find a tuatara.
I see. We went to several zoos in New Zealand to find a tuatara.
I think you're right. I think we did. Did they have Australian Reptile Park? Do you guys have tuataras? I don't remember showing a tuatara in our video on the Australian Reptile Park, so I don't think so.
I just remember I'm getting one of the zoos in New Zealand mixed up with Australia because we went to 2 or 3 New Zealand zoos.
Yeah, we saw tuataras at multiple places.
Yeah.
And so if I've got good footage, we probably could go ahead and do it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
If I've only got so footage, should we do it now or should I wait until I can get decent footage of a tuatara?
Yeah. Let's see. Jacob says, and it hasn't been extremely cold here. We've actually been really lucky.
We've been shielded from all the stupendously cold.
Yeah. Jacob says, I've been seeing a few things lately that say it is harder for a female snake to pass slugs than fertilized eggs, and they are more likely to have problems if you don't breed them, even if they are smaller than ideal. Is breeding the only option, or is there another way to help female snakes with eggs?
It's a good question. Not all female snakes are ever going to lay slugs, but if you do get them, and you get slugs even when you have fertilization events, and they're much more likely to lay eggs. So I would say you're more likely to have a problem if you're breeding your snakes than if you're not. And even under the best case scenarios, breeding snakes takes a toll on them. Mm-hmm. So if you're regularly breeding a snake, expect it to live considerably less time than a female that wasn't ever bred. This is cost of reproduction. I actually did my master's on cost of reproduction,
life history,
evolution, and so. Expect that they're going to live a lot less time. So if you've got a pet snake and you want it to live a long time, not breeding it is generally going to be the way to go.
Yeah. Let's see. Our last question says, this is from our friend Doug Smith, who is local.
Doug,
he's been to the
I hope to see you. You've been the first of so many things. You might be the first of the reopening if we get lucky.
Doug says, the new potential legislation in other parts of the country has me recommitted to breeding snakes and keeping large lizards. How do you react to this nonsense?
A lot of it is it's really scary. Part of our mission always with Clint Reptiles has been to make reptiles approachable to a much larger audience, because as long as we're obscure weirdos, right, as the way that we're perceived as being, it's going to be an easy target. One thing I want to talk about just a little bit right now is people, myself included, often see the hypocrisy in targeting reptiles and not worrying about things like feral cats and feral dogs. And I mean, these are the animals that are devastating for ecosystems. Yeah. Reptiles comparatively not a big deal. And so it's like, that's so inconsistent. Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, there's a couple things here. One of them is the fact that they're not regulating cats doesn't change the fact that we need to do something about tigers.
Yeah.
Right. And so it doesn't make it better. It's just irritating. The other thing is cats are too mainstream for people to go after them. They're not low-hanging fruit. You start waging a war on cats. You got cat hunters out in the Everglades shooting cats. people are going to lose their minds,
Mhm.
right? And there's going to be major blowback, and they know that. So one thing is, a lot of these reptile laws are made by people who don't know much about reptiles. They don't know much about the reptile hobby. They just think it's a few weirdos that do it.
Yeah.
And it's, it has all this devastating effect, and they don't realize what we're all about, really. And they're uninformed. So again, the biggest thing that I would push is be approachable about reptiles, right? Open the door, inform people, spread good information, spread the love of these animals. But anger and resentment, if we're at war with these government agencies, we will lose.
Yeah.
Our only chance is to be allies and not enemies.
Educators.
Mm-hmm.
Educate the people around you. Show them how. Let your reptiles be ambassadors for themselves. Educate your city and ask to bring in. I don't think it's bad to talk about it. Why? What are you concerned about? Can I show you my reptiles? They're ambassadors for themselves, and we can educate you on things that you may not know about.
So, something I love is we have Clint's Reptile Room in the city of Springville, Utah. Yeah. Springville has some of the most intense. Did they change them officially?
Well, I thought you were telling me that they.
Well,
I don't know if it's official, but I've been looking on the paperwork. Okay.
But as a business, we can have them there. But if we were a private party, we couldn't have the snakes in Springville. Their laws don't allow it. And I kind of love that we are there, because we can maybe change a little bit about the public view of reptile snakes, specifically in Springville, which might allow us to help with a change to open things up to keepers there in Springville. Because a lot of these places like Springville, Utah, invasive snakes are not really a major concern. We're not the Everglades. No.
Cool. Let's pop back over to some super chats that are coming.
Did we get through all the Patreon?
We did. And those are from last week and this week.
Wow. Patreon. High fives.
Thanks.
Yeah, I forget that this should be like a 2.5 hour live stream today to make up for last week not happening.
And also there was one I thought there was a super chat that came in maybe.
That was before we got that one a while back.
I know, but there was another one. I think it was just like, you guys are rad or something. Okay. But I just wanted to thank them. But okay. Jason said that I missed a super chat, so let me read that one. That's from Jason Galepo.
Thanks for catching that, Jason.
Hey guys, quick blue tongue update. She wasn't in brumation. Remember that? He was like, "What do I do?" She was just a bit shy. She's much more active and social now. Super happy.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, she was the one that she went like immediately.
Yeah. She was happy for like 2 days and then went into brumation, and he was wondering, what should I do? So that's really cool. Okay, this super chat's from Sheldon Hufflepuff. I have a 75 that I want to make bioactive and fill it with GTF. GETF.
GTEF?
No, GETF. And fill it with GETF. But I've been told I could also cohab with tokay geckos. Would you recommend that?
GETF. Anybody on top of this acronym?
GET. You just see me and Clint, you just staring off into the distance.
The number of people here are bailing. They're like, they don't know what GETF is. Let's GETF.
Yeah.
And out they go. Okay, GETF. Okay, and you can keep them with tokay geckos?
Yeah. Green-eyed tree frogs.
Oh, okay. Green-eyed tree frogs. I personally wouldn't keep anything with a tokay gecko.
Yeah.
Especially a frog, because if they ever do bite onto it, a lot of times there are toxins in their skin that they could affect your tokay gecko too, and your tokay could be absolutely devastating. I mean, it's not to say that they couldn't be kept together, but you're opening the door to terrible tragedies.
Yeah. So Michelle just texted and said, last time we did the live stream, there was a super chat, but the question was missing. We got the person and the question.
Then she's got it?
Yeah. It's from the Karate Kid 002.
Nice.
Do med snakes make good pets? I live in Mississippi.
I'm trying to remember. Not that many people work with them.
Yeah.
They're really cool looking, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if mud snakes can make good pets. I'll try to look into that a little more.
Perfect. Jimmy Wrestler sent a super chat. Clint, you are too think for my dive into keeping jumping spiders. I currently have one, and my daughter has one that I help take care of. I have a new appreciation for atypical pets.
I love
awesome.
it. Jumping spiders are so delightful.
Yeah, we love
That makes
jumping
me
spiders.
happy.
Owen and Penny love going out and searching for jumping spiders. They name them and feed them, and they adore their little jumping spider pets. It's fun to watch them over the summer.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, Red and Black Reptiles sent a super chat that said, "Hey guys, I have 2 questions. 1, how are the Zen habitats holding up? I just got 2 of them. And 2, Leisha, does Clint have a good singing voice?"
Oh boy. So my Zen habitats enclosures are holding up really well. The wood one, I've got a bearded dragon in it, so it's not experiencing much humidity. The other 2 are doing great. The only thing, and I knew this was an issue from the beginning, because the front doors are plexi, they do get scratched a little bit. You could always replace them with glass, and glass is way cheaper than plexi. So, and I would much rather have them ship me plexi than ship me glass.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you ever decide to switch out the doors for glass, that totally fixes that problem. I haven't had to do that.
How is the wood and the
it's great.
Not hinges,
All
but
that's holding up perfectly.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. We should be doing update videos more often. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, maybe we would.
Okay.
There are just so many first date videos we've never done.
I know, it's true. It's true. And they asked me if Clinty has a good singing voice.
Well, you can be honest.
No, Clinty has a great. Don't say it like that. Clint has a great singing voice. He's never been trained. He's never been in. I mean, he was like in church choir, but I don't know if that really counts.
I didn't like being in church choir,
so he's never really been trained. He hasn't been around singing a whole lot in his life. My family, we sing a lot, and we do a lot of performances and things. So I think being married to me and being around my family, your voice has gotten a lot better over the years.
Well, I've been trying to learn for like the last 13 years. I've been trying to get a little bit better.
13 years? I didn't.
I tried all during my mission. And my mission was a great time because
yeah.
I love a lot of things about the people of Peru, but overwhelmingly they're not good singers. which meant all of a sudden I was nowhere near the bottom of the pack, and so I could try a little bit harder, and put myself out there a little bit more. And I sang in public a little bit, and I sang in public twice. Why is it twice?
You've done 2 solos, I think, and you've sung a lot of group numbers with my family.
Look at me go!
Yeah.
It pushes me outside of my comfort zone, though. It makes me feel uncomfortable, but I want to not be afraid, because someday I would love to play a villain in a musical. Yeah,
Clint's an incredibly amazing actor. The only scary thing about him playing a villain is that he's a method actor. So he would come home and still be in his method acting, and I'd have to shake him out of it. But I would love to see Clint in a play or a musical of some sort. I think you would do so well. Fun. Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately, the characters I want to play, Lucia's like, no, you can't be him. He's horrible. I'm like,
okay, the one that most villains, I'm like, yes, play him. But the one that I really don't like is Hunchback of Notre Dame. What's his name?
I don't remember.
He's the priest.
No.
Of the Catholic Church, and he's like lusting after Esmeralda, and
yeah, he's a real creeper.
He's creepy. He is a, what is the word?
Creeper.
Predator. He is a predator.
Oh, he's the worst.
Yeah. He's
so
really
awful.
Gross. But Clint has like the exact same body type. He's been practicing singing that song. He's like, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, he's the worst. You would also make a really good Aladdin guy.
Jafar? Oh,
Jafar, yeah.
That's made to be Jafar.
Yeah.
They just put the hat on me and they were done. I need to get my beard so twisted.
It's so twisted. Yes. All right. Let's go back to our super chats. That was a fun question. Thank you. I like the little breaks of non-reptile questions. Those are fun for me. Where were we?
I don't know.
A lot of people are popping in, so I'm not. Okay, here it is. Sheldon Hufflepuff sent another super chat. This one is a super duper chat.
Super duper chat.
They say, yeah, so I totally met red-eyed tree frogs earlier. But I really appreciate y'all. Clint, you really inspired me to get into the herp hobby. That's really
nice. I hope that answer was clear. Red-eyed tree frogs, they're awesome. They're a little boring because they mostly are just a green blob on the side of your tank, but they're so exquisitely beautiful, and they're very photogenic because they're not particularly active. I mean, you
Yeah.
can post, you see photographs of people of like a stack of red-eyed tree frogs.
Yeah.
There's a reason. It's just because they took them and they stacked up some red-eyed tree frogs, and the tree frogs were just like,
they're so
Okay.
beautiful, but they're always like just perched up in their little, like you don't get to see their colors very often when they're all stretched out and gorgeous.
And I was actually just discussing red-eyed tree frogs last night with Matt.
Yeah.
And because he just got back from Costa Rica and unbelievable stuff.
Mhm.
Anyway, he was saying how much more vibrant they are in the wild, and
Interesting.
he has at his house are much more vibrant than you normally see because he gives them high
UVB.
doses of UVB.
That's really cool. I don't think you're pressing that super chat button nearly enough. There you go. Okay. Johnny R, who is also born to eat bacon on Patreon, said, would Clint
Oh
play?
no! Tell them to go away.
Oh, how?
Sorry, guys.
Let's just turn off the sound.
Okay.
That's not going to turn off this one.
I don't think so. You guys can
Okay.
still hear me, right?
Okay. Has said, would Clinty play D&D if he could be a proboscis monkey / droid with a giant axolotl as a mount?
A droid? Is there a droid aspect? Oh, I just want to be a regular proboscis.
Maybe he didn't mean droid. He said DRUID.
Druid.
Is that a real thing? Sorry,
no,
I
is
just
it-
changed it to droid because I
Wait,
didn't know.
what was the
DRUID.
Yeah, that's a druid.
Okay, sorry. I just said
Oh.
droid because I thought it was a typo and I don't know what a druid
yeah,
is.
see, I could be a druid that turns into a proboscis.
Sorry, I'm a horrible human.
Do I also turn into a werewolf and a werebear and all those things?
I don't know. I don't even know what that means. And they asked, how's my leg? On Monday, I don't know what I did. I was like picking up the pillows off the floor and I felt a weird pop and radiating pain in my knee. And it was really hard to fall asleep because it hurt so bad. And I was like, oh no, I don't even know how I heard it, but I just heard it again. And do I have to start all over? And since then, it's been doing really well. I've been
It was a miracle pop.
Yeah. I'm like, maybe I just popped it back into place because all of a sudden it's really doing well. It's like, it gets sore at night, especially if I walk too much on it and stuff. But
she's on the road to recovery.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a while before it's not causing her any trouble at all.
Yeah.
But
It's doing really well.
I don't think it's something that you're focused on like all the time.
No. And I mean, I'm not exercising on it and doing like I'm not running and dancing and walking miles and miles. Like I'm trying to really just lay low with it.
Yeah.
But other than that, okay. Thank you for asking. That's really nice.
That's really kind.
Lauren Bevel said, do you think if you are born with a bad voice, you can learn to be a good singer, or is it something you either have and can improve on, or you don't? I absolutely think you can learn to be a good singer. Absolutely. I think people are born with that talent, but if you work at it, oh yeah, you totally can.
There's just been a few tips that I've received that have made a big difference. I think a lot of it would be if you had the right teacher.
Yep, absolutely.
That would be
My
good.
dad was the choir director in our church for a long time, and he helped a lot of tone deaf people because church choir, at least for our churches, whoever wants to go can go. I feel like in Baptist church it's a little more official where they like have performances and dances.
Oh yeah,
and stuff.
no. This
It's, like,
choir
amazing.
our choir is very.
Just if you want to go sing, you go sing.
Yes, you are.
And so my dad helped a lot of tone deaf people become not tone deaf. You just have to train that part of your brain and know where to place your voice and where the air is coming from. And I think you can learn to be a good singer. What do you think?
Oh yeah. Well, I know I'm getting better, and it's largely because of just little things I'm learning here and there.
Yeah. Let's see. King Kothar said, I need a Leo, a Eurymastix. Oh, I keep a Leo, a Eurymastix, and my roommate has a jeweled lizarda. I'm feeling the itch again and want something different from the others. Recommend. All lizards. Are you a lizard person or do you want a snake?
Yeah. Snakes. Snakes are stinking rad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're delightful in a way that's very different from many of those.
Yeah.
I think I should get a snake again.
Our friend Oz, who sent Clinty his this computer that I'm using and the computer that Clint uses to teach all of his classes
Yeah,
on.
the one that replaced the one that this one peed on.
Yeah, it's been seriously such a blessing to have this computer. So thank you for.
Oh yeah, I teach all my
sacrificing.
classes on it. Like
Yeah.
it's incredible. Thank you.
We really didn't have the money, especially at that time, to buy a new computer. So
It was a
been
big
huge
deal.
blessing.
Yeah, we were just trying to keep the reptile room afloat, and it's like peed
And-
on my computer. Oh no.
Yeah. So Oz just sent a super duper chat of $50.
Holy smokes! Super duper chat.
Thank you, Oz. Oz says, thank you for the well wishes during the Texas freeze out. Luckily, we were okay at my house. No power loss, etc.
Oh, good.
Glad to hear things are going great over in Clint's Reptiles world.
It's
Thank
been
you.
wonderful.
Glad you've been okay.
Yeah.
We know some of Michelle's family lives down in Texas, and they didn't have power or running water for a few days.
Come on, Theo.
Come here, Theo.
I don't want you to get
Down.
eaten by a snake.
Good boy.
Won't happen.
What a good boy.
He's a delight.
But I'm glad to hear you're doing well, and thank you for your
thank
support,
you
Oz.
so much.
Ethan Faulkner sent a super chat, said, since you're so into dwarf retics, do you have any interest in dwarf boas? I have a pair of hog islands, and I'm looking into getting a cocker K.
I do like dwarf boas. I would consider my Peruvian longtail boa to almost be a dwarf boa.
Yeah.
They're pretty small. I'm really interested, if you want to talk about dwarf boas, I'm really interested in rosy boas. And I can tell you there is a rosy boa video coming up.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Jimmy Wrestler, I think this is our last super chat of the day, and then we can eat lunch because my tummy's growling. Theo, down. Jimmy said, I do have a jumping spider question. I lost my two oldest at about a year. Both refused food, even hand feeding, and starved.
Were they
death
males?
After failing to kill prey repeatedly. Any suggestions?
They might have been males. A lot of male spiders, when it comes time to breed, that becomes all that they're about, and they're no longer interested in eating or anything like that, and they run themselves into the ground. I wouldn't be too stressed about it. Oh, what perfect timing!
I know, Martha's just speaking up.
And so I think that might be a big part of it. Look at how cool she is. What is that? All of them?
That's all. We opened our mail,
and then no more are coming in for sure.
Yeah, for sure. We had our big announcements. So let's just recap
Did
our
we
big
cover
announcements.
everything? Yeah.
One, there's a Wednesday video coming out on
Wednesday.
on the topic.
Oh yes, on the topic of what can the reptile hobby, what can we do as individuals right now to help things during what really does feel like the pet reptile apocalypse.
Yeah, with all the legislation. Our second really awesome announcement is the Reptile Room is opening in March for Monday and Friday evenings.
Yep, but we are still completely dependent on people coming virtually. So please continue to come virtually
and hang out with Clint. It's really fun, and everyone who does it enjoys it. If you want to just spend an hour with Clint, book an appointment. He'll be in the Reptile Room, and you can chat about whatever you want, or invite some friends and make it a party. And our third really awesome announcement was that just that was it. Then our parthenogenesis, which is what we wanted to talk about.
And thank you guys so much for being here. It's always so much fun. We love you guys. I'm really glad we're back.
Yeah, me too.
That's all of them, right?
Noonshine and let's see who else. Noonshine and Aurora Exotics and T Monger were helping moderate.
Oh, moderators,
they're from
thank
the
you.
Discord.
Yeah, the Discord server.
And Noonshine just asked, when are you popping in on the Discord?
So I think we're having those chats on Saturday mornings. So potentially tomorrow I could stop in for a bit. A reminder doesn't hurt though. Well, if you could shoot me a reminder, I'd be much obliged. All right. As always, like and subscribe, and we hope to see you real soon.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Ciao.